Good morning. So we're going to go ahead and get started because it's going to get a little warmer by every minute. It'll go up a degree. So if we can get it done, the sooner the better. So again, thank you all very much for being here this morning. Here we are again this year, and I was hoping that this year, because we did the same thing last year, that this year we wouldn't have to do this, but here we are because of the COVID situation, we're relegated to this. As you all know, those of you that have been following our campaigns in the last years, typically at this time, the month of October, which is Domestic Violence Month, we'll have an in-person program at one of the colleges, and we'll have speakers and other. We have an art contest where the high schools participate. Again, unfortunately, last year and this year we were not able to do that. So let's pray, and hopefully that next year we'll be able to get back to our usual format for addressing this type of issue. So having said that, it's always awkward because we say October is Domestic Violence Month. But here at the DA's office with this staff right here, domestic violence is every day. I mean, every day. It's no month, there's no day, there's no hour, it's every day. Today is Friday, and it's payday. Unfortunately, somewhere tonight, a female, and it may be a male, but most of the times it's a female. Sometime tonight here in Cameron County, unfortunately, the husband, the boyfriend, the partner is going to come home, tired. The wife is tired. The kids are tired. It's been a long week. There's a discussion that's going to start about something trivial, about the car didn't work, about the roof has to get fixed, about the kid having to go to the dentist, something innocuous that you and I have our discussion at home. And because of the circumstances in a household, that discussion is going to progress into an argument, and that argument is going to progress into a verbal confrontation. And unfortunately, that verbal confrontation is going to progress into a physical altercation. The lady, the wife, the girlfriend is going to get assaulted. It's going to get assaulted. Her hair's going to get pulled. She's going to get kicked. She's going to get thrown to the ground. The police are going to respond, and she's going to be very articulate right there and then about what happened to her. And the police are going to see, the living room is disheveled, stuff is thrown around, she's got red bruises, she's crying. After they conduct their preliminary investigation, they're going to make an arrest of the individual. And they're going to bring the case to the staff here. And we're going to file it, charging the person with assaulting the lady. You would think that it would be a good case, but the great majority of the times, unfortunately, the case is going to, for us, start to fall apart, because they're going to call the victim in to discuss the case, to staff the case, and the victim has by now started to think about what happened, and she has started to realize that if she continues with pressing of the charges, that the husband, the boyfriend, the ex-husband, the partner is probably going to come to court and probably going to get convicted, and because of that may lose his job. So the lady's going to start to think about it and say, if I do that, who's going to pay the rent? If I keep on with the case, who's going to pay the daycare? Who's going to pay for the car? So she'll start to back away from her case. And she'll start to say, well, he's really never done it before. Actually, I slipped and I hit myself. He really didn't choke me. He's promised not to do it again. I don't want to proceed. I don't want to proceed. And our partners, the Friendship of Women, and these folks will try and talk to her and tell her that when this type of situation happens, statistics show that it's going to happen again. And that the second time is going to be worse. And that the third time is even worse. And sometimes there's a death involved. But it's very difficult. She will maintain her story that she doesn't want to come to court. And we get it. It's the cycle that we talk about. So she re-victimizes herself. And at the end of the day, we have no case. So that's what we're up against. It's a very difficult environment, circumstances. It's become that much more difficult since last year because of the situation that we're in. We're confined. You know, we can't go as freely as we used to do that. So now the perpetrator has a captured audience. The lady can't go anywhere. First of all, it's not the kind of thing that you pick up the phone and say, Mom, guess what? I just got beat up. In fact, it's the opposite. The mom may start to see some signals and ask her about it, and she'll deny it. That's what today is about, but that's what we do every day. And the really, really bad part about it, getting back to my scenario, is that when the actor was assaulting the lady, guess who was in the corner watching everything? Guess who was there? The kids, the children, who see daddy hit mommy. And I'm not a doctor, but statistics will say, and the research will say, that they will grow up and mimic that conduct, repeat that conduct. So that's what these fine folks are up against. That's what we're up against, but we're up for the challenge. We accept it. We accept it because we have to. We have to accept it. We have to tell these ladies and the men out there that there is help. You're not alone. We will help you. We will do everything we can to break the cycle, to help you. But it's difficult for them, and we get it. We understand. We understand. Up here we have the signal of hope. And that's what we're trying to tell the folks, that people out here want to help you. People out here are ready to help you. This is a tradition, and we passed it out where people will put a light on their window to say, I can help you. If you need help, come here. If you need somewhere to run, come here. We will help you. So I want to thank the media for being here this morning, because you play a big part about this. You know, people need to be aware of what I'm talking about. And it's not a nice topic. I mean, it's difficult for me to talk about it. It's difficult for y'all to listen about it or listen to it, but we have to. We can't look the other way. This is the reality of it. So I appreciate the media for covering it, because you do a big part in raising the awareness. And it's there. It's there. Everybody knows somebody that's a victim. A family member, a neighbor, a friend. So what I'm telling you, it's not shocking you. You know it. You know it. So please work with us, not just October, not just today, Friday, but every day. If you know somebody that's in the situation I just described, reach out to them. Not once, but twice or 3 times. Keep reaching out to them. Tell them that there's help. Tell them there's people that will help them, that they can't stay in that cycle, that they can't stay in that situation. And we know how difficult it is, and we understand that. And that's why we're having these events here this morning. So thank y'all for covering this event. Let me call on Sandy from the Friendship of Women. Sandy?
Thank you, Mr. Sainz. My name is Sandy Perez. I'm the legal advocate for Friendship of Women. We assist survivors of domestic violence and also sexual assault. We do, we have have a crisis hotline, which is 24/7. Yes, you can call. We help out survivors going through a crisis of domestic violence. We also have a shelter that we can go ahead and assist them if they need to leave their situation of domestic violence. We also have supportive services. We have some case advocates that we work cooperatively with a lot with the DA's office. I work a lot with Mr. Verria's staff, and so we can help our survivors obtain a protective order when they need to be safe and a safe haven for our survivors and their children also too.
All right, let me now call on the ADA that's in charge of the domestic violence unit, who knows better than I do what I'm talking about, who goes through these frustrations on a daily basis in working and counseling with our victims. Mr. Verria.
Thank you, Mr. Science. Good morning, everyone. Yes, today is the beginning of October, which is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and as the supervisor and lead prosecutor in the Domestic Violence Unit, the message that I want to share is this. We have a staff here dedicated entirely to prosecuting domestic violence cases, to supporting victims, to guiding them towards resources like Friendship of Women and Children's Advocacy Center and Family Crisis Center, so that they understand that they are not alone. The most common thread that we see in domestic violence cases is anxiety by the victim, fear by the victim, that no one will believe them, that no one will support them, and what am I gonna do if he's put away? And the more frightening question, what am I gonna do if they let him out? These are all questions that lead victims to do, as Mr. Science described earlier, change the story, to stop helping the prosecution. They have legitimate concerns. This is what we deal with every day, and we're happy to do it. We're not happy it happens, but we're happy to be there for these victims. I came on to the Domestic Violence Unit back in April of this year, and since then we've had a complete turnover of team members on the Domestic Violence Unit, and we're real excited about this group, the dedication that they have shown to understanding victims, to helping victims, to supporting the prosecution of cases against these perpetrators. For this month, our theme, as you see on the banner above, is a signal of hope. If you're wondering what that means, it's a little bit cryptic. Historically, in colonial US, people would put candles in the front windows of their homes as a signal to family and friends and to travelers that the owner is home and that this is a safe home for you to come in, get out of the weather, get out of the cold, re-energize before you continue your trip. Prior to that, in England, it was a signal to people who were being persecuted by the monarchy that this is a safe place for you to come in, share your messages of faith and hope, get a meal, get cleaned up, and be on your way. This month, we're asking the members of our community to put a candle in the front window of your homes, because every single one of us has a family member or friend or neighbor who is a victim of domestic violence. They just haven't told us yet. Hopefully, by putting these candles in the front windows of our homes, we are sending a signal to those victims that this home is a safe place for you to come and talk about the domestic violence situation you're suffering through. It is also a signal for those who are perpetrating domestic violence that they can come and get help too. Because if we don't help stop the violence before it happens, it'll be a never-ending cycle of just prosecute, prosecute, prosecute. We want to be able to address the problem before the violence happens. And we have to do that by speaking with not only the victims, but also the perpetrators if they want the help. And if they don't want the help, we're happy to deal with that too. I want to also mention finally that the numbers of domestic violence cases in our county are surprisingly high. It is a trend that continues across the state and across the country. And I will tell you, even though the numbers of cases that we have going through our office are high, statistically, only about 1% actually get reported to the police. That is a number that should concern all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just here to tell you, we are here to advocate for victims, to prosecute cases that need to be prosecuted, and hopefully have Cameron County be a safer community. I'll introduce my staff. Our paralegal and domestic violence unit is Paula Gomez, here on my right. And then my misdemeanor domestic violence prosecutor is Teresa Max Vasquez. And our investigator is Myra Pelayo.
Thank you, folks, for attending. That concludes our press conference. They'll be available. I'll be available for any follow-up questions that you may want to ask us. Again, thank you all. Have a safe Friday. Have a safe weekend. And may God bless you. May God bless Cameron County. Thank you.